ka ako ng bongga dahil nakilala kita sa mga big budgeted movie na OTJ, Honor Thy Father, na may social relevance, mga ganyan. Pero ngayon, direct parang ibang ano to ha, ibang genre tong ginawa mo. Bakit nagkaroon ng big shift? Kasabay ba ng pandemic?
Actually, I wrote the script for this 2019 ba. And then hindi ko naman naisip talaga ipoproduce siya. No, I just wanted to put it on paper, yung gusto kong sabihin. I was looking at my two daughters. I couldn't understand both of them. Parang the generation now exists in a totally different world than what we know, no? Nagugulat nga ako sa mga tanong nyo na how daring, mga ganon-ganon, because I think you'll see it in the movie with how comfortable everyone is physically. And I think that's what I've also wanted for our movies, I mean, for movies in general in the Philippines, to be more casual about showing skin, showing nudity. Parang naiwan na tayo sa dark ages, no? Na parang naging tita na lahat ng tao na parang makakita ng cleavage, bawal, 'di ba? Hindi na uso ngayon I think we need to let go of the stigma of people taking off their clothes. I think even on Instagram, you see it all over the place, and we just scroll through it, 'di ba? We don't get shocked anymore. And this movie, A Girl and a Guy, liberated me in a way, not just because I felt there were no rules in making the movie. I've always wanted to do a movie where hindi ko isipin kung kaliwang boobs lang ba yung lumabas or kalahating puwet lang yung pakita. Diba? If it's needed in the story, why can't we show anything? No? And yes, rather than ride on the fact na marami siyang bold, because there really is a lot, I think you'd be surprised to see when you see the movie how important it is all throughout the movie to be as carefree as possible with the way we look at the new generation, which is them, no? And it shows talaga. I'm sure we've seen so many movies na Pinoy na maghalikan lang yung dalawang bida, parang ayaw pa humalik, di ba? Parang ang titigas ng mga bibig, di ba? This one, we just show it for what it is, and I'm happy that the cast bonded quite well on the set, even if most of them don't really know each other. I'm glad that they all bonded because it shows in the movie. It shows how comfortable everyone is, and believe ako dun. Yan.
So direct somehow advantage pa pala na nagkaroon din ng pandemic kasi nagkaroon ng platform na ma-showcase yung mga gantong klase ng movie.
Yun nga yun yung weird kasi siyempre hindi namin iniisip na ako mismo when I wrote this in 2019 around maybe June or July, we went up to Mindoro, wrote the script, and then of course yung script na sinasabi ko is I wrote down all my thoughts and then passed it on to a real writer, no, si Ange Pesumal. And after that, no one was really interested, no. I was finishing on the job. Hindi ko pa naman kailangan gawin yon. I was getting ready for the HBO movie, no. And then we went back to work last June or July last year, and then we started thinking, because of Upstream.ph, what can we do to launch an original, no, the Upstream original. And ano yun, parang in passing, I mentioned the script I wrote. And the tough part of this is it's an ensemble piece. So, ang hirap sa pandemya, hindi siya isang bahay, dalawang tao. No? There's a lot of places, there's a lot of characters, everyone moves in and out of each other's lives. So mahirap siya gawin during the pandemic. But when Baguio loosened up, it was written for Manila. We had to do a rewrite where it involves no longer Manila, but a provincial town. In this case, we set it in Baguio, but we don't name it as Baguio. At the same time, I said it would be dishonest of us if we don't include the pandemic in the story. So we did a major rewrite in the middle part of the movie where the pandemic happened. And I think that made the whole movie even better. Primarily because it was from a point of view, the pandemic, from the point of view of the Gen Z, who is quite a restless generation, no? Yung parang hindi mapakali na generation, who couldn't just stand down, sit and relax. So the pandemic put them in that state, and it gave the script a lot more nuance, no, napaganda pa.
Oh, okay. Last na lang direct. Hindi kaya after this movie ay maalarma ang MPRCB at ituloy na nila yung censorship even sa online?
Hindi ko alam. Hindi ko alam. Pero ang natuwa lang ako is because we responsibly did the movie. Responsibly meaning we're not doing a porno. We responsibly did the movie, and it's just so much freedom na for me as a filmmaker, malaking bagay yon. That I can tell it for what it is without thinking, one, I'm being judged. Two, I'm being censored. Three, my freedom of expression is being cut out. Wala, yung parang tell it for what it is, no? And you'll see in the movie. You'll see in the movie how liberating the whole thing was. And yes, baka nga MTRCB might complain, but I want them to see it and see it for what it's worth, for what it says about our generation right now, and I hope that they understand where we're coming from, no, with this movie.
Ayan, okay.
Na parang sabi mo nga, you wrote this in 2019, na parang somehow hinugot yung inspiration for yung peg mo for this film.
Madami. I never really understood this generation, and for me to be writing about this is quite difficult. I think I'm coming from reality entertainment where most of our employees are of the same age, and you're just surprised when you're in a meeting and you're looking at them browsing through their phones. And I only know about Tinder, and then eventually I found out about Bumble. Ano naman yung Bumble na yan, di ba? And being the tito that I am, I kept on warning everyone, but everyone's looking at me like, ano kami, tanga? Yung parang, and I hated myself for being judgmental about people going into dating apps, no? And then as I was aware of it, I started looking into my daughters, and also part of the soundtrack, yung Neneng B na yan came from my daughter na music. Surprisingly, I was looking for a song that I could use for the movie. Ang sinuggest, Neneng B, gusto ko ngang batukan eh. Pero hindi ko na nabatukan. Inintindi ko na lang na natuwa na lang sa, di ba? So, yun, I think that's where the curiosity came from. And I realized beyond that, all these years, ang tagal na, siguro starting 2012, 2013, everyone was asking me, do a rom-com. Sabi ko, ayokong gumawa ng rom-com kasi ang dami nang gumagawa niyan. There's a lot of people who are better than me who's doing those kinds of films. And when I got the idea for A Girl and a Guy, I realized, one, it's not a rom-com, but I wanted to explore that side of a younger set of people, no, na hindi ko pa na-explore. And I think it's also a way to, in terms of movies, it's also a way to show everyone what can be done other than boy meets girl, girl meets boy, the parents disapprove, they part ways, and then they see each other in another party 1 year later, and there's a possibility na maging sila, no? Because there's a lot of things that we discussed in A Girl and a Guy. Marami dyan yung, lahat ba tayo may the one? Wala na yan eh. Parang up to now, we're still stuck with the one. It's no longer about that, di ba? Ang daming backward thinking that we need to unwind about the kind of relationship movies that we're making. And I'm hoping, I'm not saying we're saying the best insight, but what I'm saying is there's another side to it that we can possibly present, and people might actually be would gravitate towards that insight as something real, as something that they can identify with.
Right. Kanina sabi ni Janice na parang nag-shift ka direct to a new genre. Parang as tingin ko hindi eh. Parang na-maintain mo direct yung parang yung pushing the envelope kind of stories, no? With Bybus, with On the Job, with Honor Thy Father. So feeling ko you're still on that same core na direct Erik Matti's a director that pushes the envelope. Pero diniscuss din ba dito sa film, direct, yung pagiging fluid ng millennials nowadays when it comes to relationship, that they don't see gender anymore?
Yes, I think Alexa can attest to that in one part of the movie. No, you're gonna see how they deal with what they call an experiment of maybe I am for a partner with the same sex as I have, or maybe I'm with the opposite gender, no? I think that was also discussed because most of them are actually a lot hindi naman, some of us here are also fluid, no?
May I know from the cast who are fluid here?
Hindi ako mag-out sa inyo, ha?
Chloe, Sarah is raising their hand.
We're still exploring.
And
What's
Candice.
fluid?
When you say fluid, you do not look at gender. You know,
Yeah. I'm not just fluid. I'm also just still exploring.
Sarah,
Yeah, same as Candice. I'm exploring and experimenting like what I really want. So yeah.
kaya pala nakarelate kayo
It's a
kaagad,
great
no?
experience. Yeah. But it's
Because
a great
men are
experience.
pigs. I think they should explore the other sex, the same sex, because men are
That
pigs.
is true. That is true, direct. Men
true.
are pigs.
Ay nako,
For sure.
alam nyo, kanina
Also-
nakikinig ako direct sa kanila kanina, gender is always an endless debate. So hindi talaga yan
That's
matatapos.
Yeah,
Yes.
so including with the exploration is education. So we keep also on checking out like studies about explorations and development on gender studies as well.
Right. Ang napansin ko lang, Candice, Sarah, and Alexa, and Chloe, lahat ng mga girls ang fluid. Parang yung guys, wala. They're just quiet. What's up?
In denial.
They're just kulang, chill lang sila.
Yeah, chill lang
Ay
sila.
nako. Direk, maraming salamat.
Go ahead,
Direct Erik, ayan, ito po. Ano yung mga challenges na hinarap po ninyo while filming the movie, lalo na po ngayong pandemic?
Well, if we were to talk about the pandemic muna, we had trouble when we decided, when Globe Studios, Reality, and Regal decided that we will produce this. The first thought was to go back to where we shoot comfortably, which was Baguio.
Okay.
Last year, I shot one film there. I just finished one for HBO just a few weeks back. So we thought we could just easily go back. but it was at the time that the Team Yap incident happened. So it was quite difficult to get into Baguio. So we were ready to cancel Baguio and look for another setting to put the movie in. But then eventually it died down and we got permits for several towns in Baguio where we could shoot them. So that's one. And of course, the kind of testing that we had to do, because there are some crowd scenes, we made use of Baguio people. We tested all of them. We had a party scene, we had office scenes. So lahat yun would entail PCR tests for everybody. But mainly, creatively, while shooting the movie, I think the main challenge was I was groping in the dark because I was relying on my cast to give a full picture of the kind of generation that they are. I think they're the cross-section of the generation that I wanted to talk about in the film. Meaning, I had all these ideas based on the research that I made over the last 2019, 2020. But on set, I had to rely on them to ask them, would you grab his hand? Would you kiss him here immediately, or would you you know, I needed a more real reaction to certain situations that I just wanted to get out of my actors, applying it to their characters. I think yun yung pinakamahirap. I think this is the movie. By bus, I know how a drug dealer kills a policeman, or how a policeman goes into a raid. Alam ko na yon. On the job, alam ko na yon. Mga killers coming out of prison, alam ko how they would react when they get angry. Surprisingly, in A Girl and a Guy, the tough part is really understanding the psychology of this generation. And ang laki ng hiningi ko sa actors for asking them to handhold me in how I would depict each of their characters. And sobrang ganda ng nuance. I love it.
And thank you, Direk. Last na lang po. Ano po yung pwede niyong ibigay na message sa lahat po ng mga mangnenega sa pelikula nyo, lalo na po yung mga moralista, Direk?
Well, we are the age of social media made us all film critics, judgers, no? 'Di ba? Mahilig tayong mag-judge. Wala pa tayong napapanood. Ay, pangit 'yan. Ay, ba't ganyan? Ay ba't pag gumawa si Erik ng ganyan? 'Di ba? Nagugutom na siguro 'yan. Nagugutom din ako lagi. Pero but I want people to give this a chance. I want people to I know we're talking to a certain age bracket, but even people who don't understand this generation should really be the ones to be watching it. The parents, the teachers, because it's best that you know who you're dealing with. Kung gaano kasakit ng ulo itong generation na to, at kung gaano din sila ka-lost. No, hindi lang sila nega. Kung gaano rin sila you'd feel for them, you'd respect how confused they are. And more than them understanding themselves, I think everyone else who has a set of principles and scruples should also give this movie a chance and watch it and understand it for what it is. Because I think if there are no real actors here, I think this could be a documentary, because it's made to look like a documentary. Yung nakikita niyo sa trailer is just the tip of the iceberg. I can't show too much, but my problem is I can't also tell you how different the movie is in general, kung gaano siya kalawak, kung gaano kalalim, kung gaano ka expansive yung diniscuss niya about the generation. it all looks like, oh, it's just people fucking each other, or it's people getting pissed at each other or meeting each other. It's beyond that. And I hope you get the chance to see it. I can't wait to show it to you guys.
I don't know if you talked about this before. Did the cast have to go through an audition process before they were given the respective roles in this film? And how responsive were they when you offered them the roles that they were playing respectively?
Well, in terms of audition, we knew we wanted an ensemble movie, no, guided by a girl and a guy, but generally it's really an ensemble piece. So the first requirement I had was I wanted everyone to look different from each other. Now, if it's a cross section of girls, then what kind of a girl? Sultry, nice looking, meron ding matapang yung mukha, medyo charming, medyo supladita. I wanted a cross section, also with the guys the same. So I went through a long audition process, mostly in batches of men and women, and matagal siyang mga kwento-kwentuhan, no? I think I've gotten old, and I didn't want to deal with yung parang ang haba na ng latag mo, and then you end up with someone saying no. So nilalatag ko na kaagad, okay, this movie requires nudity, and are you ready for it? That's the first question. Now, some people would ask, what can be seen, direct? What can the audience see? And I said, you just have to leave it up to me. That
nila, well, they were on point talaga.
Oo, because I don't want to go on a set and pag binlock ko na, ay, dapat pala hindi ko makita yung puwet niya. Paano kaya to? Dapat nakahiga na lang siya. I don't want to get in a situation where I have to adjust what I have in mind in favor of what was pre-approved by someone else, by a manager, by the actor, or by the studio that enlists the actor, diba? So I wanted to be clear on that. Then after that, we go into assigning characters for them. A lot of them here have, at the beginning of the auditions, nakikita ko for 2 or 3 roles. And then we slowly lipat-lipat, kung dito ka kaya, kung dito ka, until we ended up with a good mix of cast, no, for them, for the movie.
Direct, wala ka bang naging problem along the way, like with the actors while shooting, while filming?
Alam mo, ako na ngayon nagugulat kasi siyempre I did Scorpion Nights 2. For Joyce Jimenez, I did for Rica Peralejo, I did for Sunshine Cruz, with Maureen Larrazabal. I mean, I had a lot of actors. I had a lot of movies where there's nudity. And the kind of tension when you get to the set is really, really hard. No? More than somebody jumping off the roof of a 7-foot building. 7-story building. Mas mahirap pa yung starting a sex scene, no? Pag ikaw director. There's a lot of things you need to think about. You want people to be in their right minds. Ayaw mo ma-tense yung mga tao. Ayaw mo ma-conscious, di ba? But here, I'm surprised at how ready the cast is with the movie, with what's required of them. And yun talaga impressed ako, because I wanted to get in a situation where I get to work and it's just about work. Diba? Trabaho lang. No? There's nudity. Okay, let's take off our clothes. Okay, put towels on them. Let's get ready. This is how it's gonna be done. I'm gonna block it. Okay, and now let's take it. Alam mo yun, yung ang laking bagay na hindi ka natitense or nag-excuse me sa lahat. Excuse, diba? na para lang maging komportable lahat. When you have actors who are ready and committed to their roles, ang laking bagay na nagtatrabaho lang kayo together, no? What do you want me to do, Direk? Shouldn't I be doing this? Shouldn't I? You'd get more suggestions from them because everyone's in a good place, no? Right before the cameras roll. So ito, ang laki ng learning ko dito. I've worked with a lot of people since year 2000, but this is the group of people na parang open my mind to, okay, ganito pala ka-relax kung everyone is just there to do the job.